Welcome everyone to another whiteboard special. Today we're not ranking anything, we're not listing anything, we're doing an alignment chart. You may have seen these online, but Logan, tell us a little bit about what an alignment chart might look like.
Yeah, so you think of it chaotic good, lawful evil, somewhere in between. So today we're doing cringe and based, classic Honda owner archetypes. As a Honda owner myself, I'm not even on the charts. I'm very, very based, very, very noble. I'm like way over there, not even on here.
We'll do a special for his ilk at the end of the video.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about some other Honda owners, have a little bit of fun. Should be a good one.
Yeah, let's start off with modified Grom people. All right, Logan, for modified Groms, we said that they're very deviant, but not particularly cringe or base. So they're gonna fall sort of down here somewhere in that spectrum. Now, what was our thought process behind this?
Well, so modified Groms, when I think of, kind of far-reaching Honda owners, the modified Grom owner kind of defies a lot of what you'd think about Honda owners.
Truly.
Very kind of unhinged, chaotic energy, kind of like, lives at home attitude, right? Like if you think you got bills to pay, you're not paying $5,000, $6,000 to stretch the swing arm on your Grom, right?
No, and we kind of thought of that framework, and I have to agree, like, the only person I can conceive of spending $6,000 on a Honda Grom to modify it is someone who lives with their parents or has completely lost the plot. Because if you understand the value of money to any degree, you will know that spending that kind of money on a Grom simply doesn't make sense. To me, Logan, it kind of feels like, in the 50s, you had dads building soapbox cars with their kids, like stable family homes, all that stuff. Yeah. Charming, really nice. In the 2020s, it's a little more dystopian. You got kids installing underglow kids in their trailer parks with their mom's boyfriends.
Sure.
That's how society has drifted, unfortunately.
Yeah, further and further we drift from God's light, as they say.
So yeah, you think about a Honda Grom with like the stretches and the underglow and like the ape hangers, turbo kits. I mean, the amount of Groms that have been molested and thrown into the kind of like, blender of society really is a testament to Honda's build quality, because there's a lot of them out there suffering terrible, terrible fates. So we think that modified Groms sit somewhere in this spectrum. Very deviant, very, very deviant behavior, but cringe based, it's kind of like do whatever you want with your bike. All right, next up is an archetype I'm sure you're familiar with. The VFR 800 uncle. Yes, the guy who's sort of 40 plus, pot belly, owner of VFR, given like Reddit mod energy,
For sure.
at Gat Brigade. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, like the VFR owner, it's the person that has like the strongest opinions about the most like banal topic, right? Like, classic bike, we all know the VFR, right? But to act like it's the perfect bike because it's just good enough is a little silly.
Yeah, it's like the VFR 800 started life as a proud wolf, very strong, capable creature. You think of the RC30, race-derived, had a clear mission and focus. The bike was unfortunately bred into sort of like overweight pug territory. It still has a single-sided swing arm, still has a V4, but is really kind of bloated and lost its way a little bit. So that kind of fits the owner of the bike as well, right? Dog owners and dogs, they kind of like, they start to mirror a little bit, right? So VFR 800 owner, we said that they're kind of cringe, right? Like at Gap Brigade, all that stuff, but in theory, they have a decently noble mission. So they find their way somewhere over there. Pretty cringe, relatively noble. They're doing the best they can, Do they wear high vis or not? What do you think?
100%.
100%, gotta wear the high vis.
It's like high vis, but also jeans, like light wash jeans. It's kind of the weird dichotomy.
Yeah, when I think of a VFR guy, it's like the flip up helmet, modular, high vis, acid wash jeans, white but dirty sneakers, gardening gloves for some reason. That's the picture I see in my mind. The bike is always silver. I always imagine a silver VFR 800. Maybe I just described somebody who's watching to a T and they're like, what the fuck is going on?
High school physical education teacher.
Yes, teacher vibes. That's what it is. VFR 800 Unk, teacher vibes for sure. Next up is a relatively new contender, one that Logan, I think, has been spotting more and more of around here in Austin, Texas. That is the Doordash Navi Enjoyer. Yeah. How does this one strike you?
So yeah, I mean, it's just, living in Austin, it's very kind of cyberpunk, futuristic but also depraved city, right? The gig workers in Austin and most big metropolitan cities in America are really the unsung heroes, right?
Yes.
So every time I see a guy on a little Navi, big red Doordash bag on the back, I'm like, that's a hero. First responder, give this guy a medal.
Essential worker in 2025, no doubt about it. Yeah, when I see these guys, I just am really happy it's not a delivery robot.
Right.
You know, if I'm getting my bulgogi delivered, I want it to be an Armenian man on a Doordash Navi doing the Lord's work. I want to support humans. We are firmly anti-clanker here on Yami Noob. I love people doing deliveries. And the other thing about it, Logan, too, is if you're doing Doordash, doing it with the Navi is the smartest thing you can do.
100%.
This vehicle cost like $1,800.
Right.
You know, that's like a couple months payments on a new crossover or whatever.
Especially now during football season, Doordash through the roof, man.
Yeah.
These Navi guys are gonna be making bank. Compared to driving a car or, God forbid, an SUV doing Doordash, you're losing money. On those gigs. So.
There's a reason why in like every major European city, all the delivery guys are on like a little 125s. They're cutting through traffic, getting to where they need to go. You're spending nothing on the vehicle and getting your deliveries done. So if you're one of these gig economy workers, man, the Navi is the way to go. We think that the Doordash Navi is highly noble. It's pretty based. They're gonna fit somewhere right over here.
The knights of modern society.
Truly. Next up, folks, is a specimen that you've probably seen at your local bike night. We're calling it the Honda Sportbike Time Traveler. This is a specimen we kind of cobbled together, and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, these guys really are out there. So imagine this, a sort of like 45-plus-year-old guy has a 2008 CBR Repsol livery, talks about like Danny Pedrosa and Casey Stoner constantly, and you're like, why is this guy bringing up racers from like 20 years ago? Logan, what do you think of the Sportbike Time Traveler?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably indicative of some sort of like neuroplasticity, some sort of, maybe like a mental coping mechanism as a result of some sort of trauma or something. Maybe they're just afraid of living in the modern world. They really want it to be 2008 and pre-motorcycling era, and I'm not sure I can necessarily blame them.
I know. I mean, I look at the modern world, and there's many times I also want to regress to a sort of like 2009 era state of being. The internet was a very different place. Things weren't as scary. But you know what, Logan? I was also younger. And maybe that's where it all comes from. Maybe all nostalgia is just that you didn't know how bad the world actually was. I mean, at least we don't do nuclear weapons drills at schools anymore. I think it's just school shooting drills, which is equally sad, I think. And those are much more of a real threat than nuclear weapons. Anyways, so this gentleman, he's stuck in the past a little bit, a little confused about what's going on, but he's just doing the best he can. So we're gonna slot him somewhere right here in the middle. He's kind of between all dimensions here.
You can't talk about Honda owners without talking about the Goldwing Dad.
The classic archetype.
The classic archetype. The Goldwing Dad is omnipresent, right?
Yes.
Goldwing's been out since like the 70s or something. Every generation of riders has had their own Goldwing Dads, and it stood the test of time.
I think it's one of the most powerful motorcycle memes. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you think about the memes in motorcycling, Gixxer Squids, ADV Dads, the Goldwing Dad just remains. It's one that doesn't seem to ebb and flow very much. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter what generation you're talking about. There's always Goldwing Dads. To me, you gotta earn your wings. You know what I'm saying? If you're a real Goldwing Dad, you've put down 20 years in the saddle. You've done sport bikes, you've done cruisers, you've done everything under the sun. You have earned the right to ride a Goldwing. If you're coming at this, you've been riding for like 2 years, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna be Goldwing Dad. No, stop. Pause, stop what you're doing. You got to earn your wings.
Definitely. And it's interesting because like the Goldwing Dad is the only elder rider stereotype that doesn't directly correlate to divorcee, right?
Very true.
Because they say distance makes the heart grow fonder. And if you're crushing thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, every 6 months on your Goldwing, it's a lot of time away from the wife and kids.
How are you going to have strife with Deb if you're out on the road 6 months out of the year on your wing?
You're not.
You can't, dude. You can't. Honestly, they're so based. They probably have their wife in the back. They're talking the whole time. They have a beautiful communicative relationship. They've brought up 4 beautiful children into this world.
They're all
through
off at
university.
school now,
Yeah, they're all doing their thing. I think owning a Goldwing instantly increases your credit score by 100 points. That's not confirmed, but I also haven't tried it yet either. So maybe I'll buy a Goldwing and it just shoots up by 100 points. And I'm like, wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Try it out. I don't know. One thing's for sure though, Logan, Goldwings are perhaps the cheapest bike to insure that are simultaneously the most expensive.
Yeah, I think you could definitely say that. I mean, it's probably more expensive to insure an R7 than a Honda Goldwing. I don't know if any Goldwing's ever been crashed.
I don't think so.
At least any modern one in, good condition.
Yeah.
There's been some rumors on the Discord of someone potentially crashing a Goldwing, but that's a
maybe
completely
the
different.
Discord crashed an older one, but that's a different thing.
They weren't a dad.
If you were a dad, that wouldn't happen to you. So what do we think, Logan?
Certainly very noble, very based. It's kind of apex predator of the Honda owner.
Yeah. No, it's gotta go there. Oh.
It's almost as if I wasn't born into the internet. I should know this.
Goldwing dads, as noble and based as it gets. We love them, they're pillars of the community, and the motorcycling world would not be the same without our lovable Goldwing dads. It kind of feels like we all aspire to be one, you know?
I think we just aspire for stability and purpose and self-assuredness, you know?
That's what a Goldwing represents.
Absolutely.
Yeah, moving on. All right, wait. Before you click off the video, this Yamaha R9 is a giveaway motorcycle. Head to the link down below and become a member before October 3rd to lock in your chances to win this machine. I've given away a load of different motorcycles over the last 6 years on this channel, and I got no plans on slowing down. Hit that link down below and make sure you got your chances locked and loaded to win. October 3rd is the very last day.
So this one's a little bit more esoteric, but I think once we get into it, people start to understand. It's going to be the Magna Lone Wolf. So the Honda Magna from their kind of 80s, 90s V4 cruiser. You might think VMAX, that's sweet, right? But not quite.
No, to me, I started thinking about this archetype because we did the Honda It Came From Facebook episode, and there was a Magna owner on there. And Logan, I just couldn't make heads or tails of what this person's vibe was, you know?
Right.
He had just moved into the city, and he's like, I can't find anybody to ride Magnas with, so I'm just gonna sell my bike. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, what do you mean that you can't find other people who own your exact same motorcycle, so you're just gonna sell yours? I literally cannot comprehend that line of thought. So I started doing more research, and Magna people, they're just their own thing.
Yeah.
Lone wolves, kind of strange, but box themselves into alienation, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's like they tried too hard to kind of maximize their idea of motorcycling. The comfort of a cruiser, a little sportier engine, you know, the Honda reliability, they ain't getting no Harley Davidson.
No.
But once they started checking too many boxes and they're like, oh wait, now I'm completely outside of the Venn diagram. I relate to nobody, I have no friends, I gotta sell the Magna now.
Yeah. If you own a Magna, you're just like speed running, becoming like a self-isolated weirdo. I hate to say it, but it's true. And it's also like, if you want a V4 cruiser, you know the one you should get. You know the right choice. You know the one everyone would say for you to get, and you're all gonna get mad at me because it's a Yamaha and you're Honda people. Go get all up in arms on these videos. It's a VMAX. The VMAX is the V4 cruiser you should get. Or just take out a loan and get a Diavel and call it a day. I don't know. That's the new version of it, you know?
But that wouldn't be Sigma big brain enough. You know
It wouldn't be
like
old school,
that's the plebeian consumer getting loans. No Magna rider would mess with that business. So
we said that this one errs towards deviance while being slightly cringe. And I think that's a sentence that sums up a lot of motorcycling for me personally. It's erring towards deviance, slightly cringe. That's Yami Noob wrapped up in an eggshell, I would say.
Put that on the next merch drop.
That's the next merch shirt. So go ahead, Logan.
So what do we say? Slightly deviant.
Erring towards cringe, something like that, right? Yeah, it's somewhere.
Strong madness.
Yeah, somewhere around there. All right, last but certainly not least, I got a lot to say about this one, so strap yourselves in. We're talking about the Commuter Honda Apologist. Now, that might be a little esoteric. You're like, damn, what the hell are you talking about? I'm specifically talking about Honda guys who bought a commuter-specific motorcycle. We're talking NC 750. We're talking NT 1100. We're talking CBR 500 single Rs. They made a new race version that I wasn't aware of. Just kidding, the single Rs. But yet they somehow rush to defend the performance capabilities of their motorcycle. They're so sensitive. They just, I don't know, Logan, they're not coming from a place of abundance.
Definitely not. And yeah, they're somehow like the most vocal Honda owner. You think, okay, so they're commuter bikes. It's proving that they've all got office jobs if they got that much time to be online leaving comments all day.
It's true.
I'll say that.
You ain't fixing pipes if you're tapping away on your little keyboard.
Not. But yeah, and it's like they're very much like a kind of sympathizing for the abuser thing. They're like, I don't deserve a better bike. Like, it's good
And
enough
nobody
for me.
else does either.
And nobody else does either. Like, I have submitted myself to mediocrity. If you aspire for more, you're the problem.
Yeah.
That's like the attitude of this type of owner.
Yeah, that's really true. It's like people who leave comments like, well, not all of us want to do 110 miles per hour and do wheelies. I'm like, listen, I don't do that stuff either, but what's wrong with having a bike that's capable of doing that and just not using it for that? I don't want a bike that its max capability is going 70 miles per hour and getting 70 mpgs. I want a little bit more fun in my life. It's like they took all away the fun stuff from motorcycling, Logan. It's state mandated motorcycling. That's what it is.
Yeah, in you know, another 20, 30 years, and we're all wearing like state mandated like gray jumpsuits, and society is run by delivery robots. If motorcycles still exist, there'll probably be something akin to the NC 750.
Truly, yeah, truly. It just feels like fun police to me. It just feels a little sad, you know. But I think the type of person that owns this bike can so quickly become highly based and noble if they just tweaked a couple of things. I'll give you an example, and this brings it back to you, to what we said in the beginning. Honda Transalp, to me, very noble, very based, great value for money, tons of fun, nice engine, great motorcycle, does basically everything an NC 750 does. But you take an NC 750, it's $500 less, right? But it's taken away all the good stuff, Logan.
All the good stuff.
The motor's gone, the clutch is gone, the shifter's gone. You got a frunk though.
Got a frunk, and you got a DCT.
Yeah.
And right side up forks.
Right side up forks. To me, this is craven. It is deviant to take motorcycling to this place, to warp it into this ultimate practicality. I think it is much more noble and based to take a bike and just put on some luggage on it, you know, use it for something like that, than to completely warp the machine to be something so practical. I would take a Versys 650 over this sort of thing. Commuter Honda people. Logan, we saved it for last over here. It's gonna be as cringe and as deviant as it gets. There is no moral leg to stand on when it comes to this.
I got nothing else to say, that's it. That's the be-all end-all for the Honda commuter bikes.
Yeah, so these are our choices for Honda people. They kind of ended up all over the place, Logan, which is kind of interesting.
I know, what's deviant but also totally based?
Honda Supermoto people.
Yeah, I think that's
CRF
fair.
450 Supermoto conversion.
Yeah.
Highly deviant, but pretty based.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd agree.
Let us know down below what you think of the Honda archetypes, if you have any we missed, or if you can find something else that fits in deviant and based. Would love to hear your feedback, and let us know if we should do other alignment charts. These are a lot of fun. And remember, it's all for fun. Don't worry too much about it. We're just having a laugh. It's supposed to be fun. Don't get too upset. But drop a comment, hit subscribe, and thanks so much for checking out today's video. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.